Cooper, this feels a little bit like I'm going to interview you. What is your favorite romance novel, sir? Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is April and my cat Cooper is joining me today because I'm just feeling very cozy. It's cold. Everything about me is cold today, even though it's California cold. It is literally 60 degrees outside. But I'm freezing. So today we are going to do a tag video just from Honest to Fiction. Tagged me in the romance book journey tag video. I've been watching all the videos from all the ladies that participated all day today, and I've loved each and every one of their videos. I feel a little out of place doing this because my journey is very short, but I'm going to do it anyways because you know what? Everyone's journey looks different and that's okay. Well, the first question is about how old were you when you started reading romance, and do you remember your first romance book? I was 35. I'm 40 now. So yes, I have only been reading books, period, for 5 years. I am very new in my journey. I am just starting my journey out, to be honest. And the first couple of years, I don't even think I wanted to read romance at all. I didn't gravitate towards books that had romance. So when I read romance, it was in very small doses, and I slowly kind of gravitated more towards like YA romance books. I'm a fantasy reader. I really love fantasy and sci-fi. So that's where my journey reading period started. And then I would say books like Daughter of the Pirate King and Mary E. Pearson's novels of the Remnant Chronicles, those kind of things really got me into romance, to where I was like, ooh, I don't mind some kissing in books. It's not so bad, maybe. Because at first I was, I definitely was like every other person who approaches romance as like, I don't want to read that. I'm cool with that. But then once you actually read one and you realize that the journey of people like experiencing their emotions and being overcome by them is actually quite interesting. I love in real life how people react to things and the different choices and perspectives people have on things. And you get that in romance quite a lot because it is more about an internal journey rather than an external journey, despite what's happening around you. So yeah, I think those type of books I started with. My very first book that I read, Daughter of the Pirate King, definitely was the first book that I read that kind of gave me a little taste of that. Number 2 is, did you deliberately seek out romance or did you stumble upon it, and how? Well, like I just said, I just kind of slowly evolved into more romance, but where I actually started reading more adult romance and very specifically romance books that I have a predominant plot in romance is during COVID times. I was starting to really have incredibly bad anxiety, and all the fantasy books that I was reading, like Sanderson and S.A. Chakraborty and B.E. Schwab and all those very high fantasy, almost war-driven books, they were causing all these anxious feelings in me. And my reading time is my self-care time. So I don't like having those feelings when I'm trying to relax. So where I say deliberately is that during COVID times, I still loved reading, and I needed to find something with a happy ending that was also fun and not in any way, shape, or form, anxiety inducing. I just couldn't handle it, and I still have trouble handling some of those things. I have to really pick and choose when I'm ready for it. So I started reaching out to things like Christina Lauren, Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, Sally Thorne, The Hating Game. Those type of books were very big in my life. In fact, I have this little shelf right here is plumb full of rom-coms. I went rom-com wild that time. And they, a lot of people think that they're light, fluffy reads, and they are, but they also helped me kind of relax and bring me joy in where I wasn't having a lot of joy in my day-to-day life because my anxiety and panic attacks were so bad. So it really helped me get outside of that. Question number 3, did you start with traditionally published romances or indie, and has it switched? I definitely started out with traditionally published books because those were the ones available to me. I do not own a Kindle for the longest time because also the whole reason I started reading is because I was on my phone too much. And I work on the computer all day long, and then I was on my phone all night long. So I needed a screen break. As you can tell, my eyes are very bad and they were hurting. I was having dry eyes all the time, that kind of stuff. And I really needed a screen break. So I did not pick up a Kindle for the longest time until very recently. I got a Kindle Paperwhite, and that has changed my life. Honestly, it's been life-changing because now those indie romances are more available to me, and I have been really, really loving them. So I can see my future trajectory being more towards indie romances than traditionally published ones, though I'm still down with traditionally published books. I mean, let's get real. They're good too. But you do get more variety and even more diversity with indie romances. And I think those are the two things that are great. Also, the authors tend to take more risks. So yeah, I think that's what I love about them the most. Question number 4 was, what was a romance trope you were afraid to try but ended up loving? I can't think of a trope that I'm afraid of trying. A subgenre that I was really not wanting to try or hesitant to try was historical romance. And I thought what everyone else thinks about historical romance and really romance in general, that they're cheesy and trashy. All the things you get mad at people saying about romance books, I said those things. I said all of them. And then again, during COVID times, I really needed something that was really funny and just let me escape somewhere, that wasn't now times. Cooper, don't leave. Cooper, don't leave me. Oh, okay. How rude. I picked up The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare, and that opened my eyes wide open to historical romance. I didn't realize how funny they could be. But when he ripped her dress in the throes of fashion, it's just stop it. She's stop it. I just fixed that because she's a dressmaker. That shit made me laugh so hard. And I was sold after that. I read a bunch of Tessa Dare's, and then I got into Sarah McLean and all of those authors that are just truly show me what it is about historical romance. It's not like this damsel in distress and all this proprietary and blah, 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 blah. It can be that, but mostly today's historical romance are very feminist in nature. They are all about breaking down the patriarchy, men having feelings and women having agency. And that made my little rebel heart sing, okay? Sing. So yeah, totally love historical romance now where I didn't expect to at all. Question number 5 is there a book that you read early on in your journey that you would rate differently today? I had to go back through my books because I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even remember most of the books that I read. It's my brain fails me all the time. But I noticed that I gave The Devil in Winter by Lisa Kleypas 4 stars. Who even am I? Who was I? Why? What was my thinking in that? That's a 5-star book, okay? That is a 5-star book, enough said. Question number 6 is, how has your taste in romance evolved over the years? I think because I'm still very new in my journey, that my taste really hasn't evolved that much. I still really like books with snappy plots, really fun romance, great banter, an emotional journey that isn't overly emotional. Like, I do actually love characters with an arc, you know, and a romance with an arc as well, but nothing that is incredibly devastating. I am in a good place with my mental health right now, and so I'm extremely protective of it. I mean, I read the content warnings, I read the trigger warnings, I stay away from things that I know are going to trigger me. That's why I can't read emotional reads right now, because if you tell me that that book broke your heart and you were crying for days, that's not for me right now. That is not my enjoyable self-care time right now. I might evolve over time. Absolutely, I will. But if you asked me, has my taste changed so far? No, not really. Like, I'm just not there yet. This question was really hard because I obviously don't read super emotionally charged, powerful books. I just don't. But I think books that left a lasting impression on me are definitely books that I found what I really liked in romance novels. Something like Akamath. I really love the little Easter eggs throughout the thing of how they get together. And the big sweeping romance, or the big confession at the end, and then the reward right after. And then I really love, like for instance, in The Bridge Kingdom, where Daniel L. Jensen's craft of creating an incredible cliffhanger, like an appropriate cliffhanger, where you don't just like stop in the middle of your main plot of the first book. You actually do finish that plot, and then you kind of leave on a cliffhanger, a taste of what's going to happen in the next book. I think she's really great about that. Sarah McLean, I love a great, strong hero that, despite all odds, goes after what she wants. You know, those type of things, like in Brazen of the Beast. I love Hattie. I love that she has taken charge of her life and she doesn't care anymore. Yeah, stuff like that I think are more powerful to me than something that left me devastated. You know, they also make me think about what I want in real life. So I don't know. We'll just go with that. Question number 8 is probably my favorite question of this. What was the romance book that told you this is what I am looking for in my personal life or my partner? So I'm married. I have been with my husband for 18 years. One thing that I notice my husband is really good at, that I actually have gravitated towards in romance novels, is that my husband is a caretaker. He is the one that takes care of my entire family, myself included, and my children. When we're all sick, he is always taking care of us. He is always making sure something's going right. And he just has always had that drive in him because he loves us and he wants us to be the best versions of ourselves. And he's also extremely supportive, even though he doesn't understand. You know what I mean? So like, I love those type of heroes that take care of you, not just because you're sick, but because maybe you need emotional support as well. And then, yeah, you know, Sebastian St. Vincent, the good caretaker, all the caretaking heroes. Those are the ones that I gravitate towards in fiction because I actually do have that in real life. And it's something that I am so thankful for and so appreciative of. I try to tell him all the time, I promise. Question number 9 is, what romance book would you recommend to a romance newbie and a seasoned romance reader? So I would probably choose a YA romance just because it's like dipping your toes in the pool, you know what I mean? Like, most people don't cannonball. Most people don't, okay? So yeah, I would go with like a Mary E. Pearson, The Remnant Chronicles. I go back to that one because I think it's so lovely and so romantic in nature, but yet also epic and sweeping and just lovely. And then, I would probably say Laini Taylor's Strange the Dreamer. I just did a whole video of fantasy romance that were my all-time faves, and those were all the books that I started with, and I think they're all still really good beginner books. At least they were for me. And for someone, also, I just read one that's coming out soon. It's called Queen Bee, and it is a YA Regency novel by Amelie Howard. It's Amelie Howard's, I think, first YA novel, and that one has such like Bridgerton show-esque feelings that something like that of pop culture can really bring you into something like Regency romance and pull you in, because it is like so adorable and sweet. I mean, you have a character who is out for revenge because her best friend ruined her, and she is going to get back at her by dismantling her friend group and then making sure she's not the diamond of the season. You know what I mean? Like, it was just really cute, and I think also it's a great for a newbie historical romance reader. Like, I think it would really pull you in, especially if you're looking for something diverse and flashy and like colorful and very modern in nature, but yet you want to try historical romance. It's kind of like an anti-historical romance is what Amelie Howard is calling it, and I think she's right about that. Something for a seasoned romance reader probably would always be something either darker or more outrageous, like like something just real off the wall, like the Spider Romance by is it Tiffany Roberts? I probably go something like that, like real outlandish, or something really dark like Pam Godwin's Sea of Ruin. I think is a heavier one than I read that I definitely needed to be prepared for and needed to have some sort of romance background to start reading. Yeah, stuff like that, I think, for seasoned romance readers. Also just something that is a little bit new, but still has those same romantic tropes that we all know and love, like A Lady for a Duke. I think it'd be great for a seasoned historical romance reader, because while it can absolutely appeal to a newer person, I think a seasoned romance reader will get all the nuances of these characters' journey together, like their friends to lovers relationship. That would be really great. So yeah, I think those are going to be my recs for a seasoned romance reader, because I'm one of those now. Me and my whole 2-3 years of reading. And the last question is, in your eyes, what are 3 perfect romances? Perfect is a strong word, but I think the 3 that I will gravitate towards the most and the closest as being perfect, gosh, I'm gonna have to look, even though I always think it's funny that I look at my shelves, even though they're all turned around, I still know exactly every single book right there. So my perfect books right now, these are books that are hitting all the buttons right now, are going to be something fantasy romance that is incredibly epic in nature. So I'm always going to go back to the Bridge Kingdom series. I really love those. I love a strong enemies to lovers where they're actual enemies, where she actually wants to murder him. I love that about that series. Something that clearly makes me laugh like crazy. Any Sarah Hogelbart book, like any of them, quite literally, they all make me laugh. And then I will say my 3rd perfect romance. I said it before, I'm going to go with Brazen and the Beast by Sarah MacLean, because I just absolutely think that is a very good representation of bringing down the patriarchy. And just women taking the reins and doing what they want to do. I mean, the year of Hattie, indeed. I am in my year of Hattie. So I will tag some friends down below in the description to see, to have them do this recommendation. I love hearing about everyone's journey with romance, where they started out, where they're ending up, and I can't wait to see where my own journey continues to go from here, because I'm very much still in the beginning portion of it, and I recognize that. But it's still fun for me. Like, I'm having a lot of fun with my journey. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.